This is what we know about the shooter. Back in 2020, he donated money to Act Blue, and then he I'm sorry, let me speak a little bit clearer, I'm on my bed. He donated money to Donald Trump's campaign in 2020, but then later on he started becoming more extreme. I think it's when he went to college and his family talked about it, and then he started becoming more of a Democrat. Can we say that? Is that allowed? Because is the truth allowed? He was indoctrinated into the Democrat Party in college. And what the scary thing is, he comes from a hunting family, so he was pretty good at shooting a rifle, because I'm sure he hunted deer. And this is what hate causes. The Democrat Party teaches people to hate. They're very intolerant, and they've confused people when it comes to gender, which we all know, because people think you can change your gender when you cannot, and that is not hate, to speak the truth. But with that said, now there's Democrats running around spreading misinformation like they normally do, claiming that the shooter was a Republican that was just upset with the Republican Party. That's not what his own family is saying. His own family, from what I'm hearing, is saying the complete opposite. They're saying that he switched parties or ideology because he was going to college and he was being brainwashed at college by intolerant people. And I'm sure he might have been watching stuff like MSNBC, CNN, probably Stephen Colbert, the same stuff that my brother watched and consumed that destroys your brain cells. He may even be on drugs for all I know. Because that's what happens when you destroy your brain and you just feel hate for the other side so much. There's no question that before he killed Charlie Kirk, that this guy was not a Republican that assassinated Charlie Kirk. And I at the age of 22, I wouldn't be shocked if he watched South Park, so I'm sure South Park didn't help when they're vilifying Republicans for 3 episodes straight. The first episode, it was a little bit lighthearted. At least I assumed it was lighthearted. Like, I thought it was a little bit jokingly, like, going after Charlie Kirk. But I don't know how somebody like this crazy, unstable shooter was interpreting it. Like, I don't know what's going on in his mind, if he's thinking like Charlie Kirk's a bigot and all this other stuff. I don't know. Like, it depends how you view the episode, I would assume. But I do think the episode has a connection to Charlie Kirk's assassination, in my personal opinion. But the only person that truly knows that would be the shooter himself. But with that said, I do believe he deserves a death sentence, because you can't just take somebody's life. O'Reilly would say the opposite. He would say we're supposed to forgive people, and not, I don't know, because, I don't know. I think Bill O'Reilly, I don't know. In my opinion, the person that should be deciding is Charlie Kirk's wife. And this guy stole not only her husband, but the father of her children, who are now going to grow up without a father. And we have the left behaving very demonic, where they're celebrating the death of somebody else because they have a different political view. And Charlie Kirk, I posted this online on Laserdisc database, and the owner there, he didn't like what I had to say. I called Charlie Kirk a moderate. I didn't even talk about the fact that the shooter's most likely a Democrat. I didn't even bring that up, but he deleted my topic. Whatever, that's his website. He can run it the way he wants to run it. I believe a Japanese guy runs the website, but I've been told that he has more leftist views by some of the people that visit that message board. I'm not sure if that's true or not, because I haven't verified that for a fact, but he didn't like the topic I made, and I thought it was, I didn't think the topic I made was that divisive. But anyways, Yeah, this is what happens when you have people in this country that are pushing for division, which the Democrat Party is, which they'll never admit. Their supporters will not admit it. Their media vilifies the conservative party or Republican Party nonstop, daily, always painting us as Nazis. Oh, if you don't agree with me on immigration, you're a Nazi. And they're brainwashing their supporters. Most of their supporters didn't even care about immigration until they kept programming it in their heads. They didn't care about people that are being deported until their media keeps telling them, you got to care about this issue. You got to care about this issue. And the laws in our country, which the left completely ignores, sneaking into the country. I'm sorry, that's mucus in my throat. Sneaking in the country is illegal. It is illegal. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown. Sneaking into any country is illegal. That's the laws of most countries. The Great Wall of China was literally keeping out other Asians from, I think it was the Mongolians, correct me if I'm wrong, and I believe they're Asian. They were trying to keep Mongolians out of their country. There's a reason why people try to keep people out of the country, and it's not always to do with, oh, it's because they're this race or that race. Well, you had South Park pushing this disgusting narrative that the white people, the white Republicans, are trying to keep Mexicans or brown people out of the country because they have brown skin, and they don't care if they're good people, which is not true, because there's a lot of Republicans that understand that if the person isn't causing any problems over here, many of us might be very comfortable with them staying here as long as they get their papers and do things the right way. I don't understand why there's people like Matt Stone, Trey Parker, pushing for division. Well, I do understand that part, because in the past, the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure I've heard that Matt Stone and Trey Parker are pro-life and they support the Second Amendment. Well, I'm not a big gun guy myself. I don't really support. I'm not trying to say take somebody's right to bear arms or something like that, because I do think women specifically, because I know there's a biological difference between a male and a female, and I think they need the most protection most of the time. And if they're not, just to have something on them, whether it's a firearm or something, because there's a genetic difference between us, which we're not even allowed to talk about sometimes, because some people on the left are saying there's no biological difference between us. There's absolutely no, that is a lie, and most normal people know that's a lie. There's a physical difference between us. We have a different bone density. I'm pretty sure males typically naturally have bigger muscles because of our testosterone. There's a lot different between us, and sometimes you can't even really see it. Like, there's cases where you'll see somebody, I don't know, like if a skinny guy, you think a skinny guy is going to get beat up by this woman that looks really fit, but it doesn't happen because there's a biological difference. Like, you can see fights like that, like maybe jokingly fight. I think there's like maybe people boxing for fun or something like that. Let me give you an example. Back in the day, China was on Celebrity Boxing. China's the female wrestler, and she got her butt kicked by her male opponent. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was an older guy, but it was terrible. The fight was so lopsided, and China's a very big woman who's very fit and has very big muscles, and she might have been bigger than the guy. But there's a biological difference, and people don't want to admit that. Sadly, like it's just how we're built. I don't know if it has something to do with evolution, where maybe we evolved over time, or maybe it's just the way our bodies are designed. I don't know. I don't know the whole thing behind it. Anyways, I'm dragging this on. What I'm saying is, who is committing the majority of the violence in our country right now? And it's not because of Donald Trump, he's Hitler. Like, this is the narrative the left keeps trying to paint, is that Donald Trump is Hitler. When South Park is pushing a narrative like that, like Donald Trump's a bad person, he's like Satan, he's like Saddam Hussein. When you're painting that narrative, you're brainwashing people with hate, and you're not being very truthful, in my opinion, about it, because Donald Trump is a flawed person. Everybody's a flawed person to some extent. And I think what Matt Stone and Trey Parker have done is disgusting. And I do believe they sold their soul, in my personal opinion. I think you're taking money to push propaganda. You got paid $1 billion, and you have 3 episodes back-to-back bashing on Republicans, and you don't think that's going to have an influence on how somebody behaves, or if somebody tries to assassinate somebody, or they look at the other side as the enemy? Like Matt Stone and Trey Parker, you are to blame, in my personal opinion. I'm not trying to say they're the 100% to blame, because the talk, how people talk, like the reporters on MSNBC or CNN, they make a lot of things up. And then you got people like Chris Como, Fredo, this steroid-looking loser who's never had a real job in his life and got hooked up with a news job, and he's not even a good reporter at all, in my personal opinion. He's sitting there attacking Benny Johnson when Benny Johnson is speaking truth. He's saying that, and then you see Chris Como saying, well, the other side's saying all this evil stuff and stuff like that. Chris Como's trying to say, like, well, the right is transphobic and stuff like that, just pushing a false narrative. Like, I mean, your side has confused people. Back in the day, when there was barely any transsexuals back in the day, but now almost everybody wants to identify as a transsexual. An example is my cousin. My dad told me that he now wants to identify as a woman, and now he wants to have a surgery. Mind you, this is a cousin who I was told stole $6,000 from my grandma, who recently passed away on September 2nd. She was 95 years old, and she had her birthday on August 12th this year, so she just recently turned 95. But he was allegedly, from what my dad told me, was stealing over $6,000 from her. And this is like this, and I don't know what he identifies as politically now, but last time I talked to him, he seemed like he turned a very big left turn in life. He felt like he went from being a moderate to more of a Democrat, and the media is ruining people's brains, and it's pretty evident. So, and then we had the guy on the train who, I'm not going to throw say every black person's bad. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, if you listen to the leftist media, that's what people are saying. That's what people on the right are saying. No, I'm saying what that guy did on the train was disgusting. It didn't matter if he was black, white, Asian, or Hispanic. He went up to this woman, and you don't have to mention the race. It's the fact that he went up to a woman on a train that did no harm to him, and he whipped out a knife. He killed her immediately, and well, he stabbed her. She didn't die right away, sadly. I mean, like, she cried for like a minute before she passed. It's one of the saddest videos I've ever seen. Like, and it's totally disgusting. And some people on the right are like, why didn't the people on the train do anything? For example, they did try to do something later. I don't think a lot of people didn't know what happened. They didn't understand because the stabbing happened so quick. Like, unlike a firearm, you can hear a firearm when it goes off to give you a warning or something's going on. With a knife, when somebody stabs somebody in the neck or slits their neck, you can't hear that. You can't hear somebody being sliced by a knife. It's a silent, deadly weapon. And that guy, after he did kill her, he said, I got that white bee. So that does look like it was a hate crime, racist hate crime. I mean, everything's a hate crime if you take another human being's life, technically. So that's a racist hate crime right there. And now whoever his lawyer is a terrible person, because now he's making up stuff about how the government, they put something in my body and it made me become a racist person to unalive a person. Nobody with a brain believes that. But, like, it's really sick what's going on in the country. And I think I heard the guy was homeless, but I'm sure at one time he was listening to things on the media or maybe using computers, and you have a social media that is like things that the left is pushing in this country to divide people, and he had a very negative view of Caucasians. That does look like a racist hate crime in that case. I mean, I didn't really want to bring up race in it, but he brought race up when after he took the life of somebody and screamed about how that I don't even want to talk about it. That's enough with that one. The left is destroying this country. And as I brought up in my previous video, my brother was sick in the head before he passed away in 2021. He was violent, and he would attack me over politics, and I never talked politics with him. I tried to avoid politics with him because I knew he was being brainwashed by the media with hate in his heart. And his final weeks alive were terrible. He was high all the time. He was falling all over the place. I told my dad about it, but I don't know. My dad, what are we supposed to do? He is a grown adult at 36 years old, and he's choosing to put poison in his body. You can't stop somebody from doing that. But you can, in the sense that if we actually had proper laws in the country where we're not just letting criminals that are selling drugs, heroin and pills and all the worst type of drugs to people that make them so addicted that they don't stop. They never truly stop. It is very rare for somebody to stop the addiction they have. Sometimes they can take a 5-year break or a 10-year break, but eventually they'll go back to it. You've seen it with actors like the chubby actor. I forget what his name is. I can't think of his name right now. He was pretty big at one time. I think he was. Can't think of it right now. But my point is, when somebody chooses to put something like that in their body, it destroys their brain entirely. And it doesn't help that when many of these people that are watching the media are high on stuff. So that's why you're getting response when people are trying to fight people physically and try to assault them or even try to unalive them like the guy on the train did. The way that guy behaved on the train is how my brother behaved to me when he was alive. I was afraid of him. And now I'm on a browser right now, and this thing's just popping up with this idiot on a chat room saying for you, whatever. And anyways, I'm tired of this. Like, this is disgusting what's going on in the country. And somehow people like me are to blame from what the left is saying. They're saying they're Republicans. Like, I haven't always been registered as a Republican, but I always voted Republican, so I guess got to count myself as a Republican, despite the fact in the past I was registered as an independent. But after somebody who was indoctrinated into the Democrat Party, Thomas Crooks, tried to blow out the front runner of the Republican president, tried to blow the head off of the front runner of the Republican party, I switched. I'm not switched party. Well, I did switch parties. I was independent with the Republican. I registered as a Republican then, because this is disgusting. I just keep seeing this nasty stuff from the left because they're being encouraged to do violence towards people, and they think we're all fools and we don't see it. Some of us aren't fools. Some of us are paying attention. Your side is sick. Your side has a lot of people that are on drugs. Hell, I'm not trying to vilify this actor at all. I know Charlie Sheen in the past had very leftist views, but right now I think he's trying to be more of a moderate now or something. And thank God that he has beat his addiction for now. I hope he stays on the right path, because I don't wish people to put poison in their body, because if he kept up what he was doing, he would not be around to see his children grow up. So I hope Charlie Sheen stays to the right path. And when I say right path, I'm not saying Republican. I'm saying the right path in life where you try to better yourself. Because drugs, when they take over you, you become something very demonic. And even he will probably admit that it turns you into a monster. And not only does it turn you into a monster, it will eventually take your life. I don't know what type of drugs he was on, but almost all drugs eventually kill you, one way or another. Anyways, this is sad what's going on. It's really disgusting. Like, I don't know, it really bothers me. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit.